Hello there, Sagittarius, and welcome to your monthly reading. I hope that everybody is doing fantastic, and I can't wait to see what kind of guidance and information is coming through for your sign this month. If you're brand new, I want to extend a nice warm welcome to you and just give you a quick rundown on how this is organized each month. I like to start off with a little bit of channeled information, which we'll be getting to in a moment. Then I look at a Celtic cross, which shows all of the main information for the month, and then I look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead now and get into your channeled information. Every month I tune into the sign by meditating and doing some automatic writing. As I was doing that this month, I got an overwhelming feeling and sense that independence was going to play a key role in the month, particularly when it comes to making difficult decisions. It's always important to check in with people around you, but sometimes you have to learn to trust yourself. And this month, more than others, I feel like that's the key takeaway from this. What I want you to do this month is to focus on what you feel as you go through things. What is the first impression that comes through? And know that this is your intuition at work. Sometimes, if you're highly sensitive, you may hear things, you may see things, you may simply know things, but most people operate on a very sort of latent level of intuition, and they don't realize it's there because they're expecting something really, really big. It's the subtle cues that come through. And for some of you, you're very good at picking up on environmental signs and symbols from the universe. So I may use a deck of cards for this reading, but symbols are all around us. It could be a certain type of animal that you see as you're walking out the door. It could be a license plate as you're driving to work. It could be some song on the radio that reminds you to do something or reminds you of someone. These are not coincidences. Everything that's kind of happening to us is set up to help us. There is a big overarching purpose for this. So I want you to take all the signs and symbols in your life, just as I'm looking at the 78 cards in front of me in a second, and begin to see the patterns that are emerging. They're around us every day, and it's sort of like an alphabet. You'll start to put it all together and it will make sense. Ultimately, this is going to help you strengthen your intuition. It's going to help you with independent thinking, and it's going to help you also feel a little bit more confident in how you present yourself and how you move through the world. So that's your challenge this month. That's what I'm picking up on. And I think that if you start to really incorporate that heightened awareness, trust within, and then also just ability to pick up on the small signs and symbols, then everything is going to start to come into focus. Let's move along now and take a look at what the cards have to say for us this month. In just a moment, I'm going to shuffle everything, and I remain quiet at this point because I like to pay attention to what's coming through as I pull the Celtic cross. So let's do that, and I'll be back in just a second. In addition to the cards here, I like to pull one more. This is what I call a catalyst. It connects everything that we see. It gives you also some insight in how to maximize the energy of the month. Your catalyst this month is Door to Value. As we look at this card, what it really is indicating is opportunities are coming through for you, particularly in the area of money. Now, when I see value, however, I also think of how you value yourself, what's going on with self-confidence, because to me, net worth and your internal self-worth are always tied together. The fact that when I looked at this card initially, it was reversed says there might be some sort of a balance that needs to happen with the self and the net worth. So work on feeling better about yourself. When I picked up on that theme of independence, I think it also has to do with that as well. So if there's anything in your life where you feel maybe beholden to someone because of some sort of monetary support or some other sort of strings that are attached to however they are helping you, remember that true love, true kindness is unconditional. And this month you want to kind of go through and cut the ties and remind whoever it is in your life that might be not understanding that that's what you seek is unconditional support, love. And anyway, for you, if you can put that unconditional love towards yourself, that's going to open up the doors that we see here as well. Your central card is a very positive one. We have the Three of Wands. It is reversed. Now, the Three of Wands is great though because it shows that what you're trying to accomplish, it's right on the horizon. It's starting to happen. You have to pay attention and pick up on some of the indications that it's happening, but there's a slight delay. Just know that usually this involves a quarter of a year. So I would say the next 2 to 3 months, you should start to see this come into fruition. As early as this month, you should start to get some indications that you're on the right path. So keep working hard at whatever it is that you're trying to do. It's very much within reach. When we look at what's affecting this, and possibly for many of you, what it is you're trying to accomplish, we have the King of Swords. And for me, this has to do with speaking your mind, being able to communicate clearly, and as indicated here, sometimes dealing with the details. A lot of times, swords is associated with law or the lay of the land or something like that. So for you, you might need to understand what's expected of you, what literally is written down and put into contract form or legal form. And it would be a good time if you have any sort of concerns in those matters to really reach out to legal counsel and make sure that you understand and have educated yourself, or at the very least, do the research so that you feel comfortable and confident about what's expected of you. As I look at what's been affecting you over the past couple of months here in the deep past, we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. So many of you may be overcoming some sort of relationship issues or just emotional kind of low. And this is your chance now to overcome that, because your crowning card, I'll get to the recent past in a second, but your crowning card is the Fool. And yes, it's the Fool reverse, but the Fool card is about stepping out and trying new things. Also about breaking some of the cycles. It's a very freedom-based card. In fact, that's kind of what I think about when I look at that, is like being carefree, being free, moving on, taking risks, taking chances. When we look at your recent past, we have the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups card is showing that progression from maybe not being at the highest point emotionally, moving to stability, moving to being in control, maybe being even able to receive new love or to give new love in your life. And if you're in an existing relationship, then I see things going back into a state of equilibrium, at least within yourself. As we look at where you're headed this month, so we just talked about the Fool being in the crowning position in the reverse state. Also in the reverse state in the near future is the Seven of Pentacles card. Now, whether it's upright or, again, as it came through reversed, Seven of Pentacles shows recovery, and recovery in resource management in this case, sometimes also in health. So what I see this month is a beginning to you turning things around. So some of you might be experiencing a delay, but an eventual improvement in your finances. So I want you to continue embracing that and working on that, knowing that the momentum will pick up, knowing that whatever you're trying to affect in a positive way will be working in your favor. Likewise with health or any other sort of resource management issues this month. So take care of yourself, take time, and realize that nothing happens overnight. That's really the message with that. As we look at your ego position, in the upright position, we have Five of Pentacles. And from an emotional standpoint, because we do have a lot of cups this month, this has to do with relationships. Typically, relationships with family, mothers in particular as well. And so if there's any sort of distance or challenges or scars that need to be sort of healed this month in respect to something that you experience with your mom or with your dad, again, it's maternal energy and that can come through either gender, but whoever you feel is a nurturer in your life, if you don't feel that connection anymore, if there's been some sort of a rift, this card is saying heal it at least internally. You may not be able to have that other person see your point of view. You may not be able to get forgiveness or forgive, but if you can begin to feel better about who you are internally and take care of yourself first, the healing will start to happen naturally. From a financial standpoint, this of course is saying you have to take special care with your budget this month. With the 7 and with the 5, these are cards of stretching a little bit, and so there may be some extra payments that are due. There may be some sort of cost that you didn't anticipate. Whatever it is, it does feel like you're going to be able to turn it around, because skipping to the outcome card, you have the 8 of Pentacles. So we move from the 7 in the near future to the 8 in the outcome, and the feeling of fear is really in the ego, the 5. So I feel like you can navigate through this month. Again, same thing happens with health or with emotional states. Whatever the recovery that is needed, it will happen as long as you're sort of open to it. And the tough part is kind of the beginning of the month, and then you hit another point right in the middle. The end feels very good, so stick with it and know that things are starting to turn around. And remember that your central card was 3 of Wands, which is all about improvement, recovery, even if there's a delay. As I look in your environment card, we have the Lovers. It also came through reverse. You have a lot of reversals this month, but what that tells me is that there's a change happening, because right above it in an upright position is the Star. And I love this card. I love that it's in opportunities. I love that this is where if you start to kind of put your energy, you're headed. So think about this month being a chance for you to turn a new leaf, for you to step into a position of power, empowerment, and also a position where people might be looking to you. This is a step-up opportunity whenever I see the Star. Sometimes that means that if you're in a relationship, people might lean on you a little bit more or may call on you for help. If you're working or if you're in school, this is a time when people may put you in a position where you have to take a leadership opportunity. And if you're retired, this is a chance for you to do something that you love, for you really to just enjoy everything that you've been working so hard to achieve in your life. The fact that it's attached to the Lovers can also indicate that some of you may be meeting a very key partner in your life, a new best friend, a love interest that's going to last, or if you're in a love relationship, that it's going to deepen, that you're going to see each other in a new light, because that's really what the Star is. So I want you now to start to embody that. Don't be afraid to be yourself, to speak your mind. When you combine the King of Swords with the Star, that's really what it's saying is don't hide yourself anymore. And if there's something that you really want to say, to do, or to express, particularly something in a written format, this is the month to do it. So whether that's a contract, a book, or just saying and speaking what is coming to your mind, it's great. So anyone that's in front of audiences, doing public speaking, doing correspondence, this month really, really is going to be good for that. And I feel like all of the cards are supporting it. And don't be afraid to take a chance. This risk-based card at the top, when it's crowning this 3 of Wands, is saying that calculated risk is okay. So embrace what is coming, and remember that if you feel good about yourself, if you start to believe in yourself, others will do the same. Opportunities will start to open up, and you may actually have a breakthrough moment this month in relationships, business, or just life in general. Let's go ahead now and expand the forecast. We'll begin with health. Health is an all-inclusive card that covers mind, body, and spirit. So let's see what the message is in respect to those 3 areas. Your message this month for health is forgiveness heals. And this really is symbolic of the connection between your emotional self and your physical self. Think in the past. I know that you've probably had situations where when you were very stressed out, when you were very angry, when you were very just upset, your body then became sick. Maybe you got a cold, maybe there was something else even bigger that happened within your immune system because it wasn't at its max. So if you can find it within your heart to let go at the very least, then start to forgive, you're essentially healing yourself. And yes, you're healing the other person, but what you're doing is setting both people free, but you're kind of creating this healing energy within, and that's the most important part. The fact that both people are going to be better is just sort of like the cherry on top. So I want you to work on release first and then forgiveness. Whatever it is in your life, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, but release the attachment and release the emotions and maybe whatever high or security you might even be getting from having this past issue that's popped up. Once you let go of it, new things come through. So let's go ahead now and take a look at your wealth card and see what messages this is going to convey. So for wealth, we're looking at time, money, energy, and opportunities. And we have reflection. So there are 2 pieces to this winter portion and then also the reflection. When I see winter, I'm looking at something that could have a little bit of a cooling off period. And we saw that with the finances when we look at the Seven of Pentacles, eventually leading to the Eight of Pentacles, but after a period where you have the Five. So there's a lot of movement going on, but there's a feeling that it needs to get better and you may have been stuck, or that you may not be seeing the growth that you want. Be patient, remember, with the Three of Wands, and know that that's coming through. The reflection part is what I paid attention to first, and I think what's the most important. I want you to think about what's important to you from a financial standpoint, and how did you get where you're at right now? Where do you want to be ultimately in the future? Reflecting on the past, planning for the future is going to give you that sense of empowerment in the present. And that's all you need. You don't need to beat yourself up over things that you could have changed or would have changed. Think instead, okay, that got me here. Now I know what to either do or not do for the next several months ahead. So that's it. You're going to create kind of a game plan, but you're going to have to review and maybe take a look at, we talked earlier about contracts. Take a look at the fine print and see if anything has changed. As interest rates change, as the economy continues to shift, you want to make sure that what you're doing still makes sense. Are you getting the APR or APY that you should be getting? And if not, then it's time to make some adjustments. Let's look now at love and relationships and see what message comes through. So we have a card here that's really reminding you to speak your mind, and it connects nicely with what we saw at the center. So if you look at this, there are two colors that jump out. This beautiful sort of purple color here, which is reminding me of third eye, maybe even working up into the crown chakra, and then this color here, which I would associate with your third chakra, where you hold your relationship energy. So we're talking about elevated discussions when it comes to relationships, trying to take things to a higher level, moving past any sort of power struggles and focusing instead on what really is there, what really is important. So try to have those elevated discussions and don't get pulled into the sort of small details that might be distracting or could take you to a place where you're going kind of back into old territory that doesn't make sense. Let's now take a look at your Destiny card, which I see as a GPS, as a chance for you to exercise free will, to shift things if you'd like, and we'll see what the message is there. Your Destiny card is Grace and Gratitude. So if we read the caption on this, it says, through gratitude, joy expands, and that's probably the best explanation of how gratitude works that I could think of. It also opens up your heart space. When I've worked with some archangelic entities and ascended masters, one thing that they always remind me is to say thanks, to be grateful. And it's not just because it's like a slap on the wrist. It's because as you are grateful to the universe, to the people that are coming through in your life, to the ascended masters, to everybody, your heart opens. And when your heart opens, you can have a better and more honest and more elevated discussion. And that gets back to what we were looking at with relationships. So a way that you could get to this place of peace, of love, of joy, of openness is to simply thank people for what's going on in your life, even the lessons that you weren't really hoping to receive, but received nonetheless. And for some of you, this could be saying goodbye. It could be a breakup. It could be also meeting the person of your life. The good and the bad, it all is a gift. And when we see that, then there really isn't a good or a bad. They're just situations, and then we try to react and learn from them. That's it. So be grateful for all that comes to you this month. Challenges and blessings alike. Back when I used to do weeklies, I called them blessings and blocks. So whatever those things are in your life, they're really all blessings. We just call them different things. And the second part of this was grace. Obviously, if you can get to a place where you recognize triggers, signs, and symbols, going back to what we talked about earlier, and then you can sort of move through it with grace. If we think of the Matrix, the reason that Neo could kind of move around in that that sort of cool fashion was that he anticipated what was going on, and then he also saw through the facade. He saw all of the signs and the symbols and the all of the the digital code within the matrix. So we're kind of in the matrix here, and what we're going to eventually start to see is it's all a program, and we're in it. And once we see that, then we can manipulate the program and we can ascend and we can move past this dimension. That's why we're doing this every month. It's not just so that you know what's coming through with health, wealth, love, and destiny. It's so that we can all move on to the next plane and that we can get the most out of this experience, because believe it or not, we set it up before we came into this body. So anyway, side rant there. Let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about today. I mentioned when we were looking at your channeled information, independence would be a key theme, but it's independence and trusting of your own intuition. And I went to great detail in kind of talking about the fact that, when we receive intuitive information, it's not always something really, really big. It can be a whisper, it can be a sign, it can be some sort of an indication in the environment. So I want you to pay attention to that. Just like if we're going to use the matrix, the black cat was a symbol. Think about that. There's going to be little symbols that pop up that are going to help you on the right path or avoid something that isn't something that you want to experience. Your catalyst this month was remembering that self-worth equals net worth. As we look at all of the cards and their locations, we have 3 of Wands in the center, showing that the theme of this month is improvement. And that improvement, the first thing that I see is with money, because we have 7 of Pentacles, 5, and then ultimately 8. So I'm seeing you go into a much stronger place with your finances. Same thing with emotional stability. We go from an Ace of Cups reversed to a Page of Cups upright to a star. So great things happening in romantic areas this month. And the big thing that I see for you is healing of your body, of your mind, of your spirit, and relationships, people in the past that you maybe have kept some sort of a baggage with. Once you do this, the Star card comes through. And when you combine the Star and the Fool, great things can happen. New opportunities, new horizons. There's a lot of power this month in the written word. There always is, but especially for you. So use that to your advantage. Health. Remembering that forgiveness actually frees you and heals your body. Wealth. Moving past stagnation, but doing that through reflection and understanding how you got where you are. Also figuring out where you want to be. Love. Elevating discussions, speaking from a higher place, not just from the heart, not just from power, but actually from the highest good. Destiny. Doing that through grace and gratitude, knowing that when you're grateful, your heart space opens, the universe floods in with opportunity. Grace, seeing through the program, which we talked about, understanding that you can be just like Neo in the Matrix and be able to anticipate things. That's why we're working on your intuition. So that brings this monthly reading to a close. I hope that it gave you all of the information that you need to work through this month, maybe a little bit extra as well. And if you ever want to talk more about spiritual development, if you have questions about what's going on in your life, feel free to reach out to me. I do offer one-on-one appointments, and I'm happy to chat. The first link below the video will let you look at rates and availability and see if that makes sense for you. The second link is a way to donate in a small way if you'd like to support videos just like this. I am very much viewer supported, just like NPR. And so if you like what you see here, feel free to donate as little as $1. It goes a long way and it makes a big difference. So that link will bring you to my website. You can also donate through Patreon. All of that's in the second link. The third link in the video is a way to stay in touch. So in addition to liking and subscribing to this channel, you can also join me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I'd love for you to do that. It's a great way to know new videos come through. It's also a great way to join in the community that we're all building. This, of course, is a nice segue into how I like to end every video, which is with my own gratitude and also speaking to the community that we are building here. And I hope that you understand how great it is that you're doing work on yourself, how much this is helping not just you, but the planet in general. So I want you to keep doing that, to keep building the light within, and to start to spark that light with people around you so that you may be stepping up into a position where people look up to you as a luminary in their life. So I want you to see yourself as that star shining brightly, sparking intuition, sparking inspiration in those around you, and knowing now that the work that you're doing to get to this place of grace and gratitude is possibly so that you can take that leadership role, even if it's just on a one-on-one with someone in your life. You could do it with a smile, you could do it with a hug, you could do it with sharing a video that means something to you. Whatever it is, share your inspiration, share your hope, and bring that hope, that light to the planet. Thank you so much. I wish you much love, much light, much abundance now and always. I'll see you soon.